What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am bringing you news which is the opposite of news I brought you like a month ago. On the 17th of August, 1 month and 3 days ago, I brought you news that we're not getting a ban for Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. I told you that was not happening, I told you there was no ban, and I meant it, right? Because that was the rule, that is what Namco Bandai came out and said. They said, right, we're limiting Legendary Flute to 1 per deck, we're not banning Super Saiyan 3. So I thought, right, that's okay then. Well, today, I go over to their Twitter, I say go over, I'm following, obviously I'm following, and they send out a tweet saying that in fact, it's banned. But only for a little bit, which is a little bit weird. Here's what they said. Thank you for your continued support of the Dragonball Super card game. This is a continuation of our last post from August the 17th. I'll pop a link to that video in the description if you do want to check it out. They didn't say that, that's me saying that. As we said before, having seen the decks of top players from National Championship Regionals in North America, and just in general, we limited Legendary Flute to 1 copy, and decided to take Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku off the watch list. And here's what we need to remember, right? Not only did they not ban it, but they actually came out and said, nah, it's fine, we're not even watching it anymore. However, even after the limiting of the Legendary Flute on September the 21st, taking the current meta into consideration, we still believe that Super Saiyan 3 Goku Leader will continue to dominate the competitive scene. So because of that, Son Goku / Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, you can see why I'm not using the full name all the time, it's quite a mouthful, will be temporarily banned starting on September the 28th. Side note, day before my birthday, so this is kind of like a birthday present for me that I didn't really ask for. We currently plan on banning the card from then until November the 8th. It will again be usable starting November the 9th. We and the Dragonball Super card game team wish to offer our sincerest apologies that we were unable to see this coming back on August the 17th. We also owe our uttermost apologies to players participating in tournaments around the world. We ask for your continued understanding as we work hard to improve the meta for the game going forward. We're dedicating ourselves to designing more cards in the hopes that Dragon Ball fans and card game fans alike can enjoy our game. We ask that you continue supporting us in the future. I mean, I'm going to continue supporting the game. I have been a very vocal supporter of the game. I will continue to be so. So, this is weird, right? Because it was on their watch list. They announced that it was on the watch list. It was a little bit too good. And then they basically came out and said, no, it's fine. And then a month later, they're banning it, but they're only banning it for less than 2 months. It is being banned starting on September the 28th and finishing on November the 8th. So September the 27th, you can still play it, and November the 9th, you can start playing it again. Now, in terms of tournaments, there is the one in Atlanta on the 28th, so if you are planning to go to that, please be aware that that tournament will not allow Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. You will have to find a new leader card. That is the first day of the ban, so please, please, please be careful to note that if you're going to that tournament. Plan something else. Here's the thing, though. That tournament's 8 days away. I'm sitting here on Thursday, and the tournament's next Saturday. Annoyingly, the tournament is on my birthday. I would love to go to the National Championship Regionals, but I can't, and that's very, very sad. My point is, we've got just over a week to prep. And people who are going to National Championship Regionals, they are not prepping for a week. They're prepping for a lot longer. So this is going to have a big impact on some of the people going to that tournament. I think that's probably the only legitimate complaint about this ban at the moment. Certainly, you can argue about the meta. Nobody really knows what's going to happen when we ban Super Saiyan 3. We can all make our guesses as to what's going to happen, but nobody actually knows for sure. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But as it stands, I do think there is legitimate grief that a month ago, we were told, no, it's definitely not being banned. We're not even watching it anymore. And then you fast forward a month and they're like, yeah, actually it's banned. Have fun at the regionals in a week and 2 days. But what would we prefer? Would we prefer they did nothing? Like I said in my previous video, you can agree with what they're doing, you can disagree with what they're doing, you can want them to do more, less, whatever. But the important thing, the thing that I take away from this, they clearly care about the health of the game. They are clearly trying to grow the game, trying to make the meta as good as possible. And yes, flip-flopping like this is slightly annoying. And yes, it is going to hurt people who are planning to play Super Saiyan 3 at Atlanta, which was a lot of people. Well, presumably anyway. We'll get onto that in a second. But you can't argue with the fact they're trying to improve the game. So, if we want to see the meta, as I've said before, the best place to do so is at dbsdex.com. And we can see that if we go to dbsdex.com, it is a huge proportion of the meta. It's not just, oh, this is slightly bigger than the other decks. It is kind of a yowza. You see, Super Saiyan 3 is 48.65% of the meta. And the next biggest deck is Hirudegarn with 25%. And then the third biggest deck is Trunks with 6.31%. And then the Ape with 4.5%. Which means really there's only two decks that have got more than a kind of 6.5% share. And Goku's got twice as much as Hirudegarn. It's the biggest deck, and it is the biggest deck by a mile. But then again, when we looked at this in the previous video, when I told you it wasn't being banned, it was the biggest deck by a mile. So there is an argument here of, come on. Come on. You could have seen this coming. A lot of people did. A lot of people complained when it wasn't banned. So what does it actually do? Well, before Awakening, you could only have 6 energy placed. And in the main phase, you can place 1 card from your hand into the drop. And if you have no energy, you can choose 2 cards from your life and add them to your energy. And then when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip over. And then when you awaken, you can still only have 6 energy. But at the end of your turn, you get to choose up to 3 of your energy and switch them back to active. And then when you attack, you draw a card. So it gets energy out faster and it reuses energy quickly. But then, of course, it's a blue leader, so you get to take advantage of stuff like Senzu Bean, which allows you to turn 2 of your energy back to active for the cost of 1 energy, which seems like a pretty good deal to me. Then you got Unyielding Spirit Trunks, whereas if you combo with it and your leader card is blue, which it is, you get to choose up to 1 of your energy and switch it back to active. It's basically a deck that means you get energy faster and then you get more energy as you go through the game, and you have more energy, therefore you have more options, and we end up with a fast leader that can do a lot of things very quickly, and that's how it ends up basically taking over the meta. So okay, it is the biggest deck out there, and a lot of people did call this, to be fair. Although having said that, we're always going to complain about something. I love the Dragon Ball card game, and I've been following it since the second set came out. I know I was a little bit late, sorry about that. But I tell you what, I've never seen people not complaining about something. So what's the next thing we're going to complain about? What's the next big problem we're going to have? I mean, given that Hirudegarn is currently 25% of the meta, and clearly being beaten down by Super Saiyan 3, does that mean that Hirudegarn is going to all of a sudden become amazing again and jump to the top of the meta? It might. There's a genuine chance that it might. Or maybe we're all going to start complaining about Cell, because of course Cell was an issue for a while. Now this can be played either with a Cell leader or the Android leaders, either of those will do, but it's a Cell chain that people were complaining about. For a long time, this was what people were terrified of, was going to end up essentially breaking the format. So we ended up with Growing Evil Lifeform Cell, which allows you to pop an Android 17 under the card, and then you can grab a cell with an energy cost of 5 or less and put it on top of this card. And then Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell, which is of course the one you choose, and then you put an Android 18 under that one, and you can get any cell and put it on top of this card, which is pretty good. Oh yeah, and if you do that, then you draw a card and KO one of your opponent's battle cards, and it has double strike, so that's pretty good. But if you use that to get out Perfect Force Cell, you've still got double strike, but if your leader card is an android, your opponent's got to choose cards in their hand until there are 3 remaining, and place the chosen cards in the drop area. So we're using Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell to get rid of their battle cards, and then we're using Perfect Force Cell to get rid of the cards in their hand. People were scared of Cell Chain, but then Super Saiyan 3 a lot of people are arguing anyway, was so fast that it basically meant the cell chain was no longer viable. So maybe getting Super Saiyan 3 out of the picture is going to bring the cell chain to the fore. We don't really know what's going to happen. We can make predictions. They're the two things that a lot of people are talking about. Either Harudegan or Cell Chain is going to come and kind of dominate the format. But this ban is for less than 2 months. It's for like 5 or 6 weeks. What happens then? I assume that Namco Bandai are going to be watching the tournament results with a lot of interest, and maybe they come back on November the 9th and go, nah, it's a full ban. We ain't bringing it back. Or maybe some kind of errata comes out. Some people are arguing that Unyielding Spirit Trunks is the problem, so maybe Super Saiyan 3 stays around, but this gets errataed, or banned, or limited. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. All we can do is guess, and I've told you what are the main guesses going around, and hopefully I've explained what it's happened, the ban, why it's happened, and giving you some ideas for what might happen as a result of this. As always, we're going to have to wait and see, but I'll probably be sitting here ready to bring you the news when it happens. But now I want to hear from you guys. Do you agree with this ban? Is it a good ban, or are you like, nah? No, let's not do it anymore. Go nuts in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, but do be nice. Make sure you also like this video and subscribe to this channel so you can get more Dragon Ball action in the future. Although my Transformers TCG videos are also going to be heating up, I'd recommend checking them out as well. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.